Hello, my name is CPA Aringo Frederick, one of the managing partners in Arilid and Associates. Arilid and Associates is an accounting firm located here in Nairobi. We are along Muranga Road. Aqua Plaza is a building, and you can find us at 4th floor at Aqua Plaza. So today, discussion, I want us to have a candid discussion about one of very common topic that has been in our ears for now quite some time, and basically that's about Nssf. Nssf, right? Majority of us are like employers and employees alike. We are like, how will this affect us? How will it impact our payroll? And that's what I want us to have a discussion on today. The same segment, I'm also going to guide you guys on how you're supposed to, basically file these Nssf returns. So it will be a very engaging and a very educative session, which I hope and believe that you'll be with us till the end. So one thing that we should be able to understand first of all is that employees and employers will start feeling basically the impact of new pension contribution rates, of course, this month. This basically follows a proposal to increase the National Social Security Fund as well as the NHIF rates as outlined by the Nssf Act 2013. Yeah, according to President Dr. William Ruto, our beloved president, of course, he was like the need to grow the country's savings to rescue it from debts. It all lies with us. And also adding to that point, like a 200 contribution basically was incapable of benefiting retirees as at the end of their tenure. So in this case, we find that he really advocated for an increase of this amount from the rate of 200 where it is now to a rate which will be kind of beneficial to employees when they retire. So you'll find that the big questions that we are going to ask ourselves actually is, how will this implementation affect employers and employees? That's the first question that we should ask ourselves. The second question that again we are going to ask ourselves basically, what are the new Nssf rates? These are big two questions that we should ask ourselves. First of all, how will this implementation affect both employers and employees? Then again, another question would be, what are the new Nssf rates that we should be good at or able to understand? And it is quite sad to say, like, which I can support Dr. William Samoei Ruto on this. You'll find that initially, before these new amendments, we were contributing 200 shillings. That is, of course, on a monthly basis. Assuming you were to take these 200 shillings, say like in 40 years, or maybe you've worked in for 30 years. So ideally, you're talking of 200. Believing that you've taken your calculator, I want us to just agree on this and see the sense of us, of course, increasing these rates. So you're talking of 200 by 12. That is 2,400 per annum, whatever that you're contributing for your retirement benefit. We multiply this by, say, 30 years. If you multiply by 30 years, you're getting 72,000. So for 30 years, it is as if you've saved only 72,000. And of course, if you add with whatever that the employer is contributing on your behalf, that is roughly 144,000 for 30 years, right? So I believe we can now gauge and see the importance of us having quite a good rate for contribution. So this is what, of course, was what we are going to implement now. You'll find that the proposal basically is meant to move this average of 200 shillings to about 2,160. This is about 5.6% of employees' monthly salary in that case, if at all we are to look at it on both angles. So you'll find that the same case, employer should match the same with what you are contributing, with what you are contributing. So you'll find that now, after basically we have this in mind, one of the most important things that again we should also be able to understand is how are we going to implement this. That's a big question that again we should always tend to ask ourselves. How are we going to implement this? Yeah, on this case, you'll find that employees earning above 18,000, employees earning above 18,000 shillings were to be divided into two levels of contribution called Tier 1 and Tier 2. Employees and employers under the Tier 2 category, these are of course those above the lower limit, are required to contribute each 720 monthly. Remember that this limit of 360, then if you are above the lower limit, of course you will be able to add an additional of 320. Later on in our system, you'll find that we'll be talking of Tier 1 and Tier 2. We'll be talking of Tier 1 and Tier 2 respectively. So that as at the end of the day, if you take 360, which is the lower limit, then you are above 18,000, so upper limit, or rather above the lower limit, which is 360 plus 720, it will give us, that is 1,080. It will give us 1,080. So that is to say, you will be contributing 1,080, then employer will also be contributing 1,080. Like, these are what I'm trying to put across. We are saying that at this point, you're having Tier 1, which is lower limit, you're having 360. Tier 2, this under employer contribution, right? We're talking of 360, and we're having 720. That is for employer contribution. Employees contribution, the same amount, 360, 720. So that the total, if we sum them up, you'll find that I'll be having 1080 and 1080, giving us a total of course, 2,160. So that's the maximum that, of course, we always contribute in regard to these contributions, which, if you can compare, if at all you're contributing 2160 per month times 12 months, that will translate to 25,920 shillings, right? Times what we did with the previous calculation, times 30. You'll find that this will give you almost 800,000, because it is giving us 777,600, which it makes a lot of sense compared to, for 30 years you had saved only 144,000 for 30 years. We can now see that difference. If you are to look at it on your benefit, you'll find that it makes a lot of sense for us to basically contribute that reasonable amount. So the other question that maybe we can always tend to ask ourselves is if at all this contribution is compulsory, right? Is this contribution really compulsory? Probably that is one of the questions that we can always tend to ask ourselves. Now, this is what I want us to understand. Of course, both who wants to understand the Nssf concepts, and of course, for those who are also applying the same. You'll find that according to Section 18 of the Nssf Act 2013, all persons who are subject to employment, and are over, of course, 18 years, ought to be members of the pension fund. Besides, employers are also required to deduct contributions from their employees' salary. On the other hand, also, you'll find that you're not employed and you wish also to contribute Nssf, you are also allowed to contribute the same amount. But basically in this case, because it is a self-contribution, ideally it was capped to 200, but right now you'll find that you can contribute up to 2,160. Now, basically for this concept to sink in very well, I'll want us to look at our system and see how you're supposed to file the same. And I believe you're going to learn. You as an employer will also be able to understand how the system of Nssf works. Yeah, let us jump to the next video and see how we are supposed to file this. Thank you.